Hey friends, Brandon here! Samsung absolutely blew it with the Galaxy Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. In fact, I think they should put an end to the Galaxy Note line. It's long overdue, and I actually talked about this back in August 9th of last year with Android Police, and I think the Note line is actually harming Samsung more than it's benefiting them. Let me explain why the Samsung Galaxy Note line needs to end and why you should want it to end too. Let's talk about it because this is Tech Today. This video is sponsored in part by a free service called Privacy.com. Privacy.com helps keep your credit card information safe from fraud, data breaches, and prevents those trial subscriptions from charging you more than you intended. I use this all the time. Find out more and get $5 free on your next purchase by going to Privacy.com/thisistechtoday. And by the way, if you ever want to get any Samsung products, there's a link in the description to get 5% off your order on Samsung.com on just about anything. Hopefully, that helps save you some money. Now, in order to better understand how Samsung blew it and why the Samsung Galaxy Note series must end, you must understand its beginning, its history, and the reputation of the Galaxy Note line. The Samsung Galaxy Note was announced in 2011 with a 5.3-inch screen, and much of the industry and even consumers were wondering why we would ever need a phone with that big ol' screen. It seemed insane and unnecessary, but Samsung wanted to bring the concept of a tablet screen down to the size of a modern smartphone at the time, and add additional capabilities with the S Pen. Now for context, the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a 5.1-inch screen, and the Galaxy S10 Plus has a 5.4-inch screen. Oh, how far we have come. At the time, Samsung was made fun of and criticized for the Galaxy Note series. In hindsight, we can see that they were the market leaders who pushed the industry to larger screen phones. In fact, it impacted the industry enough that Apple even caved in and increased the size of the iPhone screen from 3.5 inches to 4 inches with the iPhone 5. And it wasn't until the iPhone 6 that we really saw Apple fully embrace the large screen trend, with the iPhone 6 coming in at 4.7 inches and the iPhone 6 Plus at 5.5 inches, which is even bigger than the original Note series. This change to a bigger screen provided a big bump in sales for Apple, and Apple even offers a 6.5-inch display model now with the Max models. Now, the Samsung Galaxy Note series comes in two sizes, the Galaxy Note 10 at 6.3 inches and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus at 6.8 inches, which is 22% bigger than the first Note screen. But those of us who know the truth of the Note series know that the Samsung Galaxy Note series is more than just a screen. The Samsung Galaxy Note series is known to have the top-of-the-line specs that you couldn't get anywhere else. It was everything that you could get on a phone at the highest echelon. It was a no-compromise, all-out, full-featured and spec'd-out phone. And it was dramatically different than any other phone because it was so far above the rest. If you wanted the latest and greatest, you wouldn't go for the Galaxy S series, you would go for the Note series. Fans of the Note line used them proudly because they knew what the Note line represented. It had a reputation, but Samsung somehow lost its way with the Note 10, and in turn, betrayed its loyal fans. You see, Samsung compromised a lot of good things, and they just aren't known for compromising on the Note line. First, they compromised themselves with the price. The Note line has slowly increased in price over the years, much like other brands, including Apple. When we look back, the Note 9 launched at $1,000 for the base model, which was still a full-fledged Note phone with no compromises at that base level. Of course, you can upgrade storage and RAM by paying more, but we're looking at the base prices. With the Note 10, they did something completely new by providing two models, the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus. The Note 10 didn't have the same specs and features as the Note 10 Plus, which is in itself uncharacteristic of what the Note line is known for. Because it lacked the full features that were available, the Note 10 Plus is actually the real Note. And unfortunately, it costs $1,100. They raised the prices on the Note series by $100 in a sneaky way. Not even Apple did that, and the features between both iPhone models are the same, which is something I really wish was the case for the Note 10, as I would have preferred the smaller size. The regular Note 10, or Note 10 Lite as I like to call it, has a lower resolution than the Note 10 Plus. It has 4 GB less of RAM. It doesn't have the ability for a micro SD card expansion, which is insane to hear about in a Note device. It also has a slower max charge speed and no time-of-flight sensor for better depth sensing and 3D scanning. Now, besides the prices between the lower featured version of the Note 10 over the Note 10 Plus, the Note still betrayed its loyal fans by removing the headphone jack, which they made fun of Apple for over and over again, and then secretly removed all their ads and videos from their website and YouTube channel after the launch of the Note 10. Supposedly, they even said that they ran out of room for that headphone jack. But in all the teardowns, you can see a big empty space that they could have utilized or stacked chips on to make it happen. The Note 10 no longer looked and represented what loyal fans expected from a Note phone. Part of that is because of the Galaxy S line. In many ways, the Galaxy S line is the same phone as the Note 10. All the specs are the same minus screen size, battery size, base storage, RAM, time of flight sensor, and of course the S Pen. Those may all seem like a ton of difference. In practical use, it really isn't all that different, save for the S Pen, which not everyone finds useful. In fact, I loved the S Pen at first. I thought it was hardly a gimmick, but then I slowly realized I didn't use it after a few days, and I wonder how often that happens to other people. In practicality, the Galaxy S10 Plus feels just the same as the Note 10 Plus, but in a smaller size that is easier to use and hold. It also has a headphone jack and costs hundreds of dollars less. And that's the thing. It's like the Galaxy S10 teams and the Note 10 teams were completely different, and they didn't communicate with each other well enough. How does it make sense to make the baseline Galaxy S10 more feature-rich and capable than the base model Note 10, which costs hundreds of dollars more? The reality is that Samsung is stuck and isn't able to withhold the best of the best from their two main phone lines. The smartphone market has become overly saturated, with most companies either failing, losing significant market share to much cheaper alternatives like those from China, or simply experiencing decreasing profits. People don't feel the need to upgrade their phones as often. They cannot justify buying a new phone when their current one works just fine, or they're simply unwilling or unable to afford the higher priced phones. That causes a lot of pressure and competition in that mid to high mid-tier range of phones which the Galaxy S line sits in. That requires companies to provide more and more value, features, and power into their phones in order to sway consumers' buying decision. The problem is that doesn't really leave Samsung with much to differentiate between the Galaxy S line and the Galaxy Note lines. All it has is the S Pen, size, and maybe some higher numbers on some specs, but beyond that, the difference isn't dramatic. The difference between the lines have blurred and even flipped despite some different price points. If Samsung were to hold back on the Galaxy S line without lowering the price to a budget tier, then it puts them at risk of selling fewer units, especially for a spec-conscious community like the Android community. We all know that you guys love your specs. In many ways, that is why the Pixel 3 didn't sell well. However, the Pixel 3a shows that having a budget tier phone with the main features and capabilities that matter the most to consumers is an effective model. But that isn't the Galaxy S line. It still seeks to put the best into it and demands a higher cost than most phones. That's why there are rumors that Samsung may merge the Galaxy S and Galaxy Note lines together. This merging of lines wouldn't remove it from the mid-tier price point. It would actually be a bad strategy for Samsung to only push all their phones up to that premium price tier. Instead, they would merge the lines into a high mid-tier device that may even have S Pen support. They can embrace the reality that there isn't much of a difference between the two lines and remove the confusion that many consumers have when they consider a Samsung device. So the question is, what takes over the premium tier spot for Samsung? The answer is foldables. With the relaunch of the Galaxy Fold and rumors suggesting that Samsung is working on multiple new devices that have foldable screens, the big difference between the mid-tier and the premium will no longer be a difference of only specs, but form factor. And while your initial thoughts may cause you to think that Samsung would be nuts to make $2,000 a new premium tier, and you would be right about that, it is rumored that Samsung would likely have these new foldable devices at a lower price point, potentially around $1,500. Still a bit expensive in my opinion, but that is new technology, foldables. I suppose we'll have to find out whether or not Samsung will have a good price that is compelling to the market, and price is a really important factor for me. That's why I want to tell you about a free service that I personally use and give you the opportunity to get $5 for free on your next purchase with this video sponsor, Privacy.com. Just this month, I was running pretty close to running out of coffee and kept hearing about this one coffee subscription service and saw that they had this really amazing discount for your first purchase. I thought it was a great deal, but the downside was that it required me to sign up for a subscription, and you know how those can sometimes get tricky. Maybe you try it and it isn't so great, and then you end up paying for an extra month than you wanted, or the full price of the subscription is just a bit too much, and you just wanted the first month discount. Well, I used Privacy.com to create a virtual one-time credit card for this subscription that can only charge me up to the amount of that first purchase. After that, the card was shut down and I wasn't charged again. It was super simple. I love using Privacy.com, and I think you should give it a shot. It's free, and it also helps protect your credit card information from fraud and your personal information from any data breaches. There's literally no reason why you shouldn't sign up, especially when you get $5 for free on your next purchase through them. Sign up now at Privacy.com. youtube.com/thisistechtoday. So what do you think about the direction Samsung took with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and 10 Plus? If you are a die-hard Note series fan, do you feel betrayed? Do you see much of a difference between the Galaxy S series and the Galaxy Note series beyond the S Pen? What do you think about the idea of Samsung replacing the premium tier with foldable phones? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching This is Tech Today, where we talk about the intersection of technology in our everyday lives, in business, and in all things creative. Until next time.